Let's play e4. Welcome back, guys, to the rating climb. Let's go bishop c4. We'll play the bishop's opening here. And on knight to f6, I like to play this gambit, d4. So we are giving up this pawn, but it's not really good for black to take it. And we'll see if we see that in this game. Aha, so they do take it. And the reason it's not good is because when we take back with this pawn, the knight actually doesn't have good squares to go to. Notice it can't go backwards. You could go here, but then you run into the bishop, and then the knight comes out with a tempo, and there's actually some tricks here. Queen to h4. So there's got to be something. There's got to be something here. Let's see if we can figure out what it is. So my initial instinct is telling me to take this and play queen d5. And then we can't take the knight, so we'd have to play g3 and then maybe do that. So I'm trying to like pair this information together in the right order, basically, because I want to play g3. But we do have to watch out for this stuff. There's also queen f3 we could just play right away. Trying to remember. I'm pretty sure this is a bad move for black. So I'm trying to think through why is it a bad move? I was gonna ask if we can do a challenge, see if we can get through this entire stream without someone saying the word rice cooker, but we've already messed that up, so never mind. I can't even think clearly right now. Oh man. All right. Let's see. Obviously, we can't allow checkmate. G3, knight takes. I'm wondering if we can throw in queen to d5, threatening this. But it's not checkmate. That's kind of the other problem. It's not checkmate. Why can't I remember what the move is here? Why can't I remember? Is it just queen f3 to defend and just start counterattacking? Because queen f3 does give us the option to play g3 next. I feel like there should be a better move, but I can't really think what it is. So I think I'm probably just going to play here. I am going to try to pay attention, though. Am I going to lose the bishop to some tactic? But I don't think so, because I can always sacrifice it here. So if the knight tries to do something weird, I can always take first and then take it. So queen f3, I guess, is the move. On bishop c5, it's going to get pretty interesting, but we would still have g3, I believe. And then I think black's going to have an issue. So maybe that's the move. I can't remember. So I'm going to play queen f3. And just because it looks like it deals with the threats pretty nicely and also starts creating some counterattacking here. But I know for a fact knight takes e4 is not the best move. You're supposed to, if you're black, take here with the pawn. That's the correct way to approach it. Knight to g4. So if we take, we could lose either bishop, which I think I'm okay with because we're going to have a lead in development regardless of how you look at it. I just want to check if there's another move that makes more sense. We can't really get away with this because the knight would take. We could move over here, but that doesn't look very good to me. Yeah, I think so. I think what we're going to do is probably just take it. If this happens, I think we just develop and get ready to castle really quickly. That looks pretty good. If this happens, same plan, basically. Yeah, I don't really see anything else. So let's go ahead and take it. And we'll see which bishop black wants to take. All right, so he goes for this one. And now I'm thinking knight c3 makes a lot of sense. Guards this, gets ready to castle. And follow it up with knight here and really castle either direction. That looks pretty good. Let's just scan for any crazy tactics or anything. There's bishop b4, which would put some pressure on that. But again, the knight there to defend looks pretty good to me. So I want to develop. I think this is the way to do it. And you can see what I'm talking about. We have the lead in development, so I'm pretty happy with our position right now. We have 2 pieces out. Black has no pieces out. And so we're going to be able to castle first, and that's usually a good sign. Oh, man. All right. Knight to c6. It's attacking here. That's actually a pretty good move. Those are kind of some big threats. So my initial instinct is to just ignore it and just develop quickly, which stops this. It does lose a pawn, but then we could move our queen and continue on with castling. You'd also castle right away. The idea is that if the knight takes, I have the ability to pin it. Now black can defend it pretty nicely, but once I move the queen, then we have f4. So it's starting to get pretty tricky already. I mean, I guess we could also just defend it, but that just feels too slow and not aggressive enough for me. I think I want to just castle. That's what I'm thinking. Castle, rook to e1. Let's just say d6. We move the queen. There's bishop e6, but then we can play f4, f5. Feels like we're going to be able to win a piece. Let's go ahead and do it. I don't want to use all my time here. So let's go ahead and castle. All right, bishop b4. Obviously, here's the attack. We can just defend like this. That pawn is still sitting there. You could also play something like knight to d5, which is interesting. We would allow this to be captured. Pretty wild. I don't know if I want to go for that. I think I might just want to continue developing. Just continue developing, I think. Yes, we might lose a pawn, but I don't really care. I want to just get my pieces out. And once we get both rooks to the center, I think we're going to have a lot of counterplay, even if we do lose this pawn. So let's go ahead and just do that. Interesting. Black doesn't want to take the pawn. So d6, probably we can just take, open up the file, and think about attacking the king. I don't see any reason to not do that. There's bishop g4. Do I really care about bishop g4? I don't think so. I think we can safely just move the queen somewhere and everything looks defended. Maybe it's a little tricky, but I'm pretty confident that we're going to have some threats here if black, yeah, doesn't take it. Okay, so they do take it. So, I mean, I want to play rook here, but black's going to be able to castle. So I'm not quite in time to... trying to think if there's any way I can stop him from castling, like throwing in a check, but bishop e6. All right, let's go ahead and play it because I don't want to run out of time. So we'll just go here. There is bishop g4, but I think if black does that, then I'll throw in this knight check, which might be pretty annoying. Even if we have to sacrifice a rook, if we can get the king stuck in the center, it's probably going to be worth it. Okay, black doesn't want to do that. They just castle, which I think makes sense. So we could play h3 to stop this. Also the idea of potentially throwing the pawns forward to attack the king. What else could we play? King to b1 might be a useful move just to get off of this diagonal and also add a defender over here. I'm kind of thinking about playing that. What else? Yeah, let's play king b1. I think it's a useful move in this position. Okay. Don't have a ton of options here. We got to move the queen somewhere. I'm thinking here or here look to be the most obvious squares. Yeah, we'll play queen d5, and maybe if the capture happens, the knight can jump in. If not, it's a nice centralized square for the queen, kind of attacking a lot of stuff. And see what black's going to do. You have to play a little bit faster now. A minute and 40 seconds. The game is still doesn't look like it's going to be over, anytime soon. So I have to keep that in mind. Okay. I'm going to play f3 just to chase the bishop away, and maybe we can use it to push these pawns. All right. I'm going to go here and try to trade the queens, only because it helps with the time management. It gets easier to play when the queens are off the board. There might be a tactic here, actually. Bishop takes a2. It looks like it could, yeah. It can't take it because of the queen. So I kind of missed that one. But yeah, black has to be careful, too, that their bishop doesn't get trapped. But it looks like they have time, actually, to trade and then retreat it. So I kind of made a little mistake there. Okay, but it's not the end of the world. Let's keep playing here. Don't really have any obvious targets, so that's kind of the problem right now. So kind of just waiting to see what black's going to do, and hopefully we can take advantage of, some mistake that they might make. Yeah, we couldn't take with the knight because we needed the knight to defend our queen that was sitting on b5. That's why we couldn't take it. Let's play c3 so we don't lose a rook. Let's just jump to the center. My knights are kind of passive, so I'm trying to get to a little more aggressive squares. And obviously also just playing faster to not lose on time. Take back here. Okay, let's bring our king up. I want to control some of these light squares so that the knight can't jump in. So that's what the idea is here. Otherwise, black was about to get a fork. It'd still go here, but that doesn't really look that great because where are they going to go after that? Let's jump over here, see if we can start creating some threats with the knight, bishop on the king maybe. Something like knight e7. There's this idea, but it's just not that good. Maybe we can start pushing a pawn down. That might be actually worth trying. Okay, f6. Let's go back. I was thinking about taking, but 2 pawns for a rook and 2 pawns for a bishop and a knight. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should have done that because I had f4. I think I messed up again. Yeah, I think I missed that. I just didn't calculate it far enough. Actually, no, because it's defended by the king. Never mind. I think it's fine. Okay, let's go here. Why didn't I take that? What am I doing, guys? Probably should have just taken that. Okay, now we can take this, I guess. Okay, let's get the rook to the 7th rank because that's always a good place for a rook to go. Black has to be careful here. We might have... Yeah, we might have a tactic. Also wondering if we have checkmate. Okay, wow, they just resigned. Interesting decision. But yeah, we were going to get the rook, and I think it was going to be pretty easy after that. So let's check the game review. I know we made quite a few mistakes, so I'm not expecting this to be very good. Uh-oh. We broke Stockfish. We broke it. There we go. There, yeah, 66, 55. Oof. A rough game. Let's take a quick look at some of those mistakes. And I mean, I saw some of them during the game, but I feel like we even missed some more. So let's see. So yeah, see, like I mentioned, this is not a good move. So I feel like I messed it up here after Queen H4. No, Queen F3 was the best move. Okay. Actually, it's saying G3 is playable. So what's the idea here after this one? You take. Okay. King could take, and then what? Queen D. Oh, you sacrifice it. You go check to control this to stop the fork. And then you take the knight. Yeah, I missed that. Okay. Remember that for next time. And if the king doesn't take, what do you do here? You take and you allow the fork? You lose a rook? Wow, that's fascinating. Stockfish says, give up your rook, play bishop e3 to defend this, and you're winning. You're just winning. You just develop, and you can do whatever you want. Essentially, you're going to castle, and you have all your pieces. Wow. I'm going to have to remember that. I actually didn't know that line. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, the game goes on, and it's just pretty equal, actually, from here. Pretty equal. Big mistake there. Well, it's saying a blunder actually wasn't a big mistake. No, it wasn't a big mistake. Stockfish is weird sometimes. This was the mistake, although Stockfish says it wasn't a huge deal. Didn't like that move. Okay. So this is what I was thinking. Takes, takes, takes. King goes here. We take the rook. And then we could play f4, but it's defended. Knight to h6. Ooh. Knight to g4, using the knight to loop around and take advantage of the pin. Wow. Yeah, some of this was not easy to see in a fast game like this. So many blunders right there. Wow. Okay, weird game. Let's keep going. That was a weird game. New game. The trick is to cook rice while you play. Ah, yes. So that's what I'm not doing. That's my problem. All right, so with Caro Khan, we're going to just play knight c3, and I'm going to play my typical gambit line, bishop c4, followed by f3. Very tricky line for black to deal with if they haven't seen it before. Pretty common move here is bishop, yeah, g4. And the game is basically over. Now we can take with the bishop, or we can play knight to e5. They're both very good. We'll go for knight to e5. Maybe we get a quick checkmate, and we will. So this is kind of the trap. It happens a lot. Even at like 2400 level, I've seen people just play bishop g4 immediately. There you go. I needed one of those games to boost my confidence after the last couple, honestly. I don't think we need to analyze that one, do we? Do we need to analyze that one? Check the game review. Why not? Not really much to see here. I don't know what's up with the game analysis today. It's having a hard time. That was a short game too, so it shouldn't be that bad. All right. Well, you know what? We're just gonna play another game. So I don't know. Let me update this. Here we go. 158. All right. Good game to our opponent. It's a tough trap to avoid, so don't feel bad if that was you. All right. Play e5. Fight for the center. We'll play knight f6. Like our opponent is playing our own knight to f3. So, of course, we could play knight c6 and transpose back into the typical, you know, Italian game. But I'm wondering, can I just grab the pawn right now? What happens if I just grab the pawn? Maybe I'll play knight c6. I'll just stay on well-known territory because maybe there's some crazy, you know, gambit there or something. Let's play d5. I think we will go for our, what is it? The Fritz gambit? Is that what it's called? The Fritz gambit? Knight to d4? Yeah, Fritz variation. We played this before in this rating climb. They didn't fall for our trap. We were hoping for d6, and we didn't get it. But let's see if this person plays d6. Aha! Ahaha! So here we go. They're going for this. And what we do is allow them to do it. So we take the pawn. We allow the fork. And we go for queen c6. And the point here is we don't care about the rook because we have big threat over here on g2. Even though we're attacking the bishop, this is actually a bigger threat. And interesting, they defend the bishop. They don't deal with this, which... And the fact that they didn't take this doesn't really change anything, I don't think. So here we go. We're going to go here. This is the problem for white. The rook is basically gone unless you go to f1. But if you go to f1, you run into queen e4 and it's all over. That's what we're seeing. So this is the idea, and we got lucky enough to see it today. White has to either give up the queen or get smothered checkmated. So it's not a good choice either way. They decide to go for the smothered checkmate. And good game to our opponent. That worked out perfectly. That's the point. That's how you want the Fritz variation to go. That's exactly how you want it to go. Game review is currently not working. Yep. Kind of saw that one coming. Okay. Anyway. Usually, instead of defending the bishop, people will take the rook. And it doesn't really change anything. We still don't take the bishop. We take the pawn just like I did in the game. And you get the same, it's the same thing. Our opponent decided to play b3, but it doesn't really matter. They could give up the queen if they want. Or like we saw in the game. So we had 2 games in a row where we won from a trap. So that's pretty rare. But it's fun. It's fun when it works out. All right, we're playing a 1500. So let's see. Oh, they didn't want to play us. They didn't want to play Peter Potzer. Okay, new game. Another 1500. All right. Let's go bishop c4 again. d6 immediately. I'll play knight f3, just develop. h6, interesting move there. Let's play d4. Whenever I see someone playing, you know, pawn moves on the side, I usually try to kind of strike at the center pretty quickly. Let's develop and defend. And not doing anything real fancy right now. Let's go ahead and castle. And I'm wondering if I want to play h3 to stop this move. I think I will, only because it kind of makes it awkward for black to figure out where to develop this guy to. And so They're taking on e4. Yeah, I guess that's a good move. Because they want to just fork me afterwards. So, I could throw in this, but then it just brings the rook up. I don't think I really like that. I think I'll go ahead and keep the bishop. Probably keep the bishop. Yeah, let's do it. Let's keep the bishop. Just because I like controlling this diagonal especially. I'm looking at bishop f4. Seems like a nice place for the bishop to go to. I'm also thinking about, no, I can't bring the queen out yet because I'm defending here. So I could play like c3 just to have that defended. Or even bishop e3. Because then I would be able to use my queen to potentially attack over here. Interesting. So c3, bishop e3, bishop f4. All of these moves look like they could be pretty good. Let's go with bishop e3. Because it defends my knight. It also develops. And okay, the knight's probably coming over to f6. So let's play c3 now. And I'm going to just put my bishop back here and maybe create a battery. Let's do that. Bishop to c2, and we can play like queen to d3. Queen to d3. Then we just have to figure out how to get rid of the knight. I kind of like the look of that. What else could we play, though? No, let's try it. Let's try it. So here we go. There's the checkmate. Of course, the knight is defending it. Oh, that just makes it easy for me. Now I can just attack it like this. Black has to be very careful. Okay. They'd have to trade queens. But then their pawn structure is messed up. Is it good enough? That's a good question. We'll do it. We'll go into an endgame. They have to trade, but we'll go into an endgame where our pawn structure is better. So I can't really complain too much about that. Now, the question is, how do we take advantage of that? I'm going to start by bringing my rook over. Probably up here. Okay, let's do that. We can potentially attack this pawn like this. Also double up rooks here. Okay, they're trying to attack me here. Not worried about that right now because it's defended. There could be bishop d5. So, yeah, I guess we could play c4 to stop that. And I'll go ahead and play b3. I'm just positioning my pawns to kind of shut down the bishop here. Okay, black probably wants to double up here, which is fine. I think what I'm going to do is... there's a couple ways we could do this. King h2, and when the rook comes over, you just play g3. I think I like that. If the rook attacks me, I play h4. And I'm pretty happy. So let's do that. King here. G3. And on something like this, we could play h4. Now, okay, now I'll probably play h4 anyway to not let the pawn get through. And we have a nice little blockade here. I have to be careful. Like if the bishop was sitting here, maybe there could be some tactics, but since it's not there, I think we're fine. Let's go ahead and double up and take with the rook. Okay. Now might be the time to get the king into the game. Also thinking about, can I create... oh no, I was trying to think if I can pressure this pawn somehow, but kind of easy for black to defend. So, you know what? I say that though, but then I can get this file. There's two files though. So, all right, let's just bring the king over. I think we have to bring the king to the game, to the center at some point. So maybe we just do it now. Let's go here now, see how black's going to defend this. They use the king. Yeah, let's see if we can go for a bishop ending, just to see if we can win this. It's going to be tricky, but it might be instructive, so let's give it a try. It's going to be kind of challenging because even though we have a better pawn structure, it's kind of hard to take advantage of that, right? But what I think I can do is get my king potentially to the center before black. So let's see if we can make that happen. Like here. And that's kind of an annoying spot for black to be in because now these pieces are tied to this. And we might be able to start thinking about Zugzwang, where black has to make a move. Actually, that's exactly what I'm going to start doing. They can just use their bishop, move their bishop back and forth, though. So, might not be quite that easy. We'll play a4. Yeah, I think I see an idea, though. I think I see an idea. Once these things get locked up over here, we can go here. Attack this guy. And then infiltrate with our king. I am going to play a5. I like my pawn being on the opposite color of this bishop because it can't attack me. And now these pawns are stuck and I can attack them at some point. So that looks really good to me. All right, let's go here. Black's going to have to move the king over and then we can infiltrate. Yeah, and black's going to be in trouble here. So here we go. And now I have options to come this way or just to keep pressuring here if I want. Lots of ways to do this. Okay, and they just resign. So good game to our opponent. There we go, 1478. So we did cross 1475 pretty quickly this time because of those traps. Game review's not working, so we'll just kind of step through it ourselves, I guess. Let's see. Trying to see if Stockfish said anything different. It did say H3, so that's cool. Okay. Yep, that's fine. So black played pretty well. They didn't really do anything wrong early on. Ooh. Knight takes C6. Didn't see that one. Wait, what's the idea? Queen takes. I'm confused. Oh, wow. So, okay, so we have to take back. Black can't take our knight because we take the bishop. So they have to trade first, but once they trade, it allows us to throw in knight to e7 check. And then we take back. And the result of all that is that we win a pawn. Wow. Yeah, I wasn't seeing that. Man, that was out of nowhere. Wow, quite the tactic. Okay. Yeah, Stockfish didn't really like the queen trade because it's just super equal after that. It was hard to win. But our opponent kind of messed up after the rooks were traded off, right? I think they didn't really know what to do. And notice how we just kind of crept up with the king and kept pressuring the weak points, right? So this was one weak spot. And, you know, I mentioned it wasn't a big deal, but it kind of was what helped us win the game. The fact that our pawns were nice and pretty, our opponents were not. So we were able to attack them right here and here. We saw that. And ultimately, that's what led to the king being able to infiltrate. Also, our opponent kind of messed up here by putting their pawns on the same color. This means I can always come here and attack them, which is just gives me more things to attack. So they probably should have played something like a5, b6, and at least they don't have to ever worry about those pawns. My bishop's never going to be able to attack them if they would have done that. Now, I still think we were going to win because of this idea, and our king was going to come in and get him. But just generally speaking, you know, try to avoid putting them on the same color as the opponent's bishop. Yep, and then I think they were right to resign because once the king gets in, we just start gobbling up everything, and there's really nothing for black to do. So, did I update the win for that? I don't think I did, right? 160. All right, that's it for today, guys. I have to go eat lunch. Take care of my throat. And I will see you guys next time. Yeah. Take it easy. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp. Play smart. Take care.